everybody out there, my name is Dragnix, and this is Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. 1349 came out on Steam today. It is a co-op shooter that emphasizes the co-op portion. It's a bit different than the shoot-em-ups that you've seen before because it's got a reliance on sort of managing your ship in different ways. And by managing, I mean managing your surroundings in terms of the enemies, as well as your ship on where to fire, where to shield, and where to sort of blast off. So we're going to get right into the gameplay here. Now, you can choose your character, but it's purely cosmetic at this point. You can unlock characters as you go along, like I've unlocked Hopper here, but basically the idea here is that you're basically just putting in some aesthetic on your portion, whether or not you want to be a bunny or some alien, or you want a dog or a cat as a companion. Now, there are at least 4 campaigns. I don't know if there's a 5th yet. I have only beaten the first campaign, played through a little bit of the second. Now, the idea here is that the universe was going just fine, and what happened was that the generator that was sort of powering the universe, powering everything, sort of broke. There was an error with it. It was running off of love. Everything was running off of love. Now there's anti-love, and anti-love is causing all these creatures to sort of, cause problems and capture people, and basically you need to put back the generator in order to, bring some stability to the world. Now, unlike other shoot-em-ups, what's really unique about Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time is your ship. Your ship is controlled very piecemeal in terms of actually moving your character or moving your ship is an actual action. So you see there, I'm in my navigator's portion and I can move the ship. My companion is down below and he's able to fire in the cone of sort of the vision that the bottom has. He can't fire on anything on the top of the screen, and he can really only fire sort of that line that would be tangential to the bottom of the circle there, basically 180 degrees from that point. Now, you can move your companion to the various locations, like I can move them to the map here, so you have to sort of give up something in order to use powers. So if I want him to fire on the bottom there, I've got to move him there, and if I want to move, I've got to be there. You can only do 2 things at a time, and it creates this sort of resource management kind of thing. Do I, keep on moving, or do I stop and let, the gravity of this planet sort of move me while I fire as well? The shield is also a part of that in terms of the top portion there has a electrical field there. Anything that hits that won't take damage. As you saw there from that missile on the left-hand side, I took damage. Now, the AI is rather competent in terms of where you tell him to go. He'll fire at the right things, and in particular with the shield, you having to move the shield, he's very on cue in terms of where you should put the shield, who's going to attack next. Now, there is one problem this creates, though. This game is co-op focused, and it's clear it's co-op focused because of the fact that if you're able to play locally with a player, you guys are sort of talking, and you're like, okay, I got the navigation portion, you go and, shield, go and, use the shield and things like that. But the problem with the one-player portion is specifically the navigation portion. Now, it's one of those things where, okay, a human player would easily be able to do it, but right now you cannot have the computer player navigate. Where would he know to go? He could try to go to something on the map, but really that would be sort of like where on the map, which location. He would need a lot of pathfinding skills. Now, the problem here with that is specifically dealing with sort of the gameplay in question. Now, the gameplay in terms of firing and everything like that is reasonable. The problem is it creates this sort of stop-go nature of the game, where you're not necessarily always moving. Now, like I said before, there are other ways you can move. There are sea currents that can move you along. You do gain a little bit of momentum as you go along, so you can use that to your advantage. But when you're in sort of close quarters, and in particular you're moving through enemies, it unfortunately creates this sort of stop, go. It's like you're downtown and during a parade, and it's just stop and go traffic. And unfortunately, that really does hurt the pacing of the game in terms of if you're looking for action, this game is not actually it unless if you're playing local co-op. Local co-op feels a lot more sort of, smooth because of the fact that you guys are working together, and the fact is that you're always talking, you're always engaged. Here, with nobody sort of countering you, you don't have that engagement, unfortunately, and unfortunately that can hurt the game. Now, what I do like, though, is the upgrade system. As you see on the left-hand side of my ship there, there's this sort of gem, similar to a Chaos Emerald almost, coming out of that specific weapon slot. Now, weapons that get a gem in it will be upgraded. As you see on the top there, I've got a 2-pronged firing portion, while on the left side I've got 3. Now, those upgrades can vary. You can get sort of a metal upgrade, which will actually give you sort of a mace that you can throw at enemies, and you can actually combine them once you get the 2-prong upgrade, aka you can put 2 upgrade slots in each. I like that because you could create some interesting combos. If you put the metal and the sort of gem together, you'll get this sort of mace that can shoot lasers out of it, and it actually changes up strategy a little bit. The mace in question in particular is really interesting in terms of, we'll see it a little bit later on, but it is more of a sort of area of denial kind of thing. Now, that also can apply to your other locations as the shield and the navigation portion. Like, for example, if you put that metal upgrade in the navigation portion, you will actually sort of, as you go along, will actually emit spikes. Now, I found 5 bunnies here, or 5 frogs in this case, and so now I can go to the exit of this level. But there's other reasons for me to take a look at other locations in the level, because my ship is in full health at this point. I really don't have any reason to go for the checkpoint at this point. I want to get some more upgrades. Now, enemy variety is there. You got enemies like that will shoot, lasers at you. You've got enemies that will only be able to be sort of exploited if you use your shield against them. There is good variety there, and while it isn't necessarily the greatest of variety, it kept things fresh and interesting, and it wasn't overused. Now, you can see this question mark here. These are where they're going to be power-ups or information about bunnies or, friends to find. And so I find the gift, and I get the metal gem, and so I'm going to take the metal gem over to here, and you start seeing, okay, I'm starting to throw out traps at this point. Now, aesthetic-wise, the game is pretty at this point. It's got a nice neon look, but it doesn't necessarily take it to a sort of eye-straining level. It's actually very restrained in its neon, which is quite interesting. You get a lot of games like, Roche Fusion, where it's like, yeah, it looks really nice neon, but this feels like a different kind, like it's structured a little bit better. So I do actually sort of enjoy that. All right, so I got a beam. I'm going to put it on the right side, I believe, here. Yep, I do. Again, I always do overlay of this commentary. I feel like it's better for getting you guys information than sort of on, action-wise at this point. So keep that in mind. Music-wise, it's a nice sort of soothing track. It's not like high-paced like you would expect from a lot of shoot-'em-ups, but it's rather relaxing at this point. It does sort of fit the theme of the game. This game is not high action, and I think that's something I need to sort of really point out. There are levels of action in it. There are levels of sort of, chaos, especially with a lot of enemies around you. But it comes in sort of spaces. And if you have something where, there are downtimes that really hurt you in terms of gaming, where it's just like if you aren't considered to be like, able to take a low time in order to appreciate the highs, this game won't be for you at this point. Now, I activated my special weapon there. That is that yellow weapon that sort of circles around at this point, and it has a cooldown at this point. You basically have to activate it at the right time, and have to wait until you get to use it again. All right, so I completed that mission. I only got 5 bunnies. I did it in 728. Okay, perfectly fine. I upgraded my rank. These are your upgrade scenarios. So, for example, I can now put either 2 upgrades on my navigation, my shield, or my special weapon. I think I choose navigation because I feel like that's the most useful of them at this point, because you're always going to be moving. Now, in between levels, you'll get a chance to recover health and get some certain items out of it. You'll get a gift. I also got a repair wrench. That wrench is actually to take an item off a upgrade system if you want to put it on somewhere else, which I think I do at one point decide that this is more useful somewhere else. Now, I will admit that the one player still has a nice sort of aesthetic to it in terms of it keeps you sort of strategizing in terms of where to put your characters. Like, for example, the dog, like right here, I'm not using him very well. Knowing where to go, knowing where to move things is very important in this game, and sort of getting a jump on putting the dog up there because of the fact that it does take him a little time to get there is interesting. Now, I do like the balance too. The AI is smart enough to just go right for wherever you choose it to, and that actually can be beneficial because unlike a human, it doesn't second guess things. There's been times where I've second guessed myself and actually taken longer to get somewhere. Now, I will say the storyline, while it's cute and all, isn't necessarily the greatest. I mean, it's got some okay writing, but the sort of cute nature of the trailer I thought would have done a little more for it than it did. And you see there, I got my mace finally, which causes a little bit of a different weapon. Now, I've only found the beam, the metal, and the gem, I believe, at this point. If there are more upgrades, I am unsure, but I do think that if it's only those three, that's going to be a problem. I'm about 2 hours into the game at this point. I would have spent a little bit more time on it, but I'm trying to get that Mad Max one done as well as the X-Blades videos, so keep that in mind. Now, it's this kind of level that sort of shows the flaws of this game. It's very, very slow in this case. And it was actually a little bit misleading. Like, he says, oh, something could have eaten your companions. And I'm like, oh, so that could be anything here, including these pods. No, it's a specific enemy type that once you get to the middle, all those enemy types will show. So even though it's a little bit strange like that, it was a little bit of a misdirection on the game's part that I didn't actually appreciate. I do sometimes like when a game sort of screws with you, but not in this case. Now, one thing I will say about the game at this point, though, is that it's felt very samey. Now, at one point in the gameplay, it goes into sort of a wave-based survival mode, which was a good refresher at that point. It did sort of put a little bit of variety on it. But right now, the variety is actually pretty much the same thing all the time. And while, yes, you should expect that a little bit in a shoot 'em up, I felt like it could have done more with it in terms of maybe a little bit of a change, maybe a puzzle element or two in it, which it does have those, but I felt like it would be better if it was structured a little bit differently. Now, each level you do randomly generate in terms of, I should say randomly, procedurally generate, that's for you, Don, procedurally generate in terms of your location and specifically where the bunnies or your friends are. I believe, from what I've seen, the levels are all the same. And I think that actually can work to the game's benefit. I do think sometimes games go a little bit overboard in terms of procedural generation, in particular with level design. Level design can be very tricky in terms of procedural generation because of the fact that it may not work in certain level configurations. I think the Swindle was a prime example of that, where you'd have rooms that didn't do anything, or rooms where there's absolutely no reason for you to go towards. Now, I like the fact that this level, you can use the level design to sort of figure out what you want to do next, but at the same breath, you feel like, you have at least enough of an understanding to master the sort of level design in question. Other than that, I'm trying to think of other things I can really say about the game that I haven't showed you yet. It's weird. In terms of a recommendation for this game, it's hard for me to recommend this on a single player level. Now, not to say the single player isn't fun. Don't get me wrong. It is. It is a bunch of fun. It's just that I feel like it's limited in what it can do over time. Now, from a co-op experience, a local co-op experience, it seems a lot better. From what I've seen, and I experienced it a little bit in terms of local co-op, that it's the engagement of your friend or your companion that you're playing with that really brings the game to life, where you're like sort of like in a panic mode when you're trying to keep things protected and things like that as you're communicating. This is the kind of game that I could see people especially with people who may be new to the genre, working through it in terms of, okay, let's try this experience first more than anything else. As you see there, this is a different enemy type. They have to hit the shield before I'm able to use it. My companion's doing a very good job of putting the shield up there so that I can use the mace. Other than that, I think the price tag on the game is reasonable for the co-op portion. It's not something that's going to blow away the world. Its visuals are nice, its music's nice, the gameplay is definitely different for the co-op experience, but is it necessarily the greatest thing? I know that like Destructoid gave it a 10 out of 10. No, the game has pacing issues in terms of the combat. It does have issues in terms of sort of teaching the player a little bit, and in particular, it can sort of feel the same after a while. So I don't agree with Destructoid's 10 out of 10 review, but it is a good game nonetheless. Alright, this is Dragnix signing out. I hope you got an idea of what Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time has to offer. Again, I will put my Steam review in the description below, as well as, you know, I always want to hear feedback about, you know, what should I change about this? What do you guys think? Was it informative enough for you guys? So on and so forth. Again, like, comment, subscribe. That always helps the channel out. Again, I am trying to make a career of this. I do have to consider finances, so I would like some help in that portion. So I know I'm being a little self-shilling there, but you got to do it a little bit in this industry. Tiny bit. Hopefully not over the top so I'm annoying you guys, but enough so that, you know, I can actually make this a livable situation. Alright, I will see you all later. Have a good day, keep on gaming, and, you know, just enjoy life. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this content and want to see more of it, you may want to hit that subscribe button on the left-hand side. If you like this video and want to see more of this content, take a look at this video on the left-hand side as well. And if you missed my last video, take a look at the right-hand side. Once again, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.